So especially this quote, the world is still gripped by two diametrically opposed absolute. The world was gripped by the hands, right? Figurative hands of the Soviet Union, which we now know as like Russia, Ukraine, etc. All of that, the Soviet Union at that time was defending communism. Communism was spreading around the world. China had just become communist. So that's one way of thinking where the government kind of owns everything and the people all just work for the government, and the government, the state, owns all the property. And also it means that there's a dictator there. So the person who runs the government has all the power. They decide everything. It's a dictatorship. On the other side, this is the other hand that gripped the world. It was about democratic freedoms, democracy, and America represented that. And because there were these two extremes, just like in America today, they have like Republicans and Democrats, the left and the right together. Like that's inside of America, they now have these diametrical oppositions. But if we're looking at America and the Soviet Union as two sides, we have the communism where government controls everything. There's a dictatorship. That's not great. Now, if you have these two diametrically opposed views, communism and democracy, capitalism, where people can actually make money if they work hard. Communism, you work, it's just all to the government. The government gives you, a stipend, and they give you a couple of rations and tokens, food vouchers and stuff, right? That's that world. That's communism. Not great. Government has all the power. Democracy is where we can say what we like, freedom of speech. But even in America then, because we have such opposition, because America was so protective of its ideology, ironically, paradoxically, it was defending freedom, but because it wanted to defend it so badly, it made everyone super scared of the communism. So because everyone became scared of communism in the Soviet Union, because the government was trying to defend its way of thinking, which was about democracy and capitalism, everyone became so scared that they no longer felt like they could speak freely. So there's those diametric oppositions because they're so polarized, because they're so split, those two ways of thinking, those two paradigms. Ironically, the individuals who wanted to protect democracy lost their democratic freedoms, such as freedom of speech, freedom of thought, because you would be isolated if you challenged the government, okay? So you don't want moral absolutism, you don't want extremes, but we had two extremes going up against. And if you challenge either of those governments, then you are going to be, deemed as a suspicious individual, and you are going to be alienated. You're a suspect. We're going to put you under trial, and you're not going to want to do that because your reputation is going to be ruined, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully that answers that.